Picture this: a man so fearless, he walks straight into the jaws of hell, volunteering to be locked inside Auschwitz, the Nazis' deadliest camp. Meet Witold Pilecki, a Polish hero you've likely never heard of, who in 1940 hatched a plan so audacious it sounds like fiction. Armed with fake papers and unyielding courage, he let himself be captured, diving into a nightmare of starvation, beatings, and death to expose the truth. For 2.5 years, he not only survived, but built a secret resistance under the Nazis' noses, smuggling out reports that shocked the world. Then, in a heart-pounding escape, he broke free, only to keep fighting until his final breath. This isn't just a war story. It's a testament to human grit, sacrifice, and a legacy buried for decades. Ready to uncover the man who risked it all to defy history's darkest chapter? Let's dive in. In the shadow of World War II's unrelenting brutality, one man's courage stood out like a beacon against the darkness. Witold Pilecki, a name largely unknown until decades after his death. In 1940, as Nazi Germany tightened its grip on occupied Poland, the Polish resistance grew desperate to uncover the truth behind Auschwitz, a camp shrouded in mystery and dread. Initially, a detention site for Poles and minorities after its first prisoners arrived in June 1940. Auschwitz was already sending chilling telegrams to families, announcing deaths mere weeks after internment. The underground Polish resistance, alarmed by these reports, needed eyes inside. But no one could have predicted Pilecki's radical solution. A seasoned fighter who'd co-founded the secret Polish army after Germany's invasion on September 1, 1939, Pilecki refused to flee when Poland's defense crumbled under dual assaults from the Nazis and Soviets. Instead, he stayed, forging a resistance network that swelled to 20,000 members before merging with the Polish Home Army. On September 19, 1940, armed with forged identity documents, he stepped into a Nazi roundup in Warsaw, deliberately allowing himself to be arrested. His mission? Infiltrate Auschwitz, report on its conditions, and organize a prisoner movement to resist the oppressors. It was a gamble of staggering bravery, trading freedom for a ticket to a place synonymous with death. As prisoner 4859, he arrived at the camp, where the full scope of its horrors awaited. Pilecki's decision defied logic. Most would run from such a fate, yet he ran toward it, driven by a fierce resolve to expose Nazi crimes and rally those trapped within. This voluntary descent into Auschwitz marked the beginning of an extraordinary saga, one that would test the limits of human endurance and reveal the depths of one man's heroism in the face of unimaginable evil. Witold Pilecki's arrival at Auschwitz on September 19, 1940, thrust him into a world of unrelenting horror, yet his spirit remained unbroken amidst the camp's savage realities. Stepping off the train as prisoner 4859, he was greeted not with silence but with the crack of clubs. Guards beat him and his fellow captives the moment their feet touched the ground. Heads shaved, possessions stripped, and 10 men randomly executed before his eyes. Pilecki quickly grasped the brutality that defined this place. Auschwitz, still in its early days as a detention camp for Poles and minorities, was a chaotic abyss of starvation, disease, and casual cruelty, its transformation into a death factory just beginning. For the next 2.5 years, Pilecki endured conditions that would crush most souls: backbreaking slave labor, rations so meager they barely sustained life, and the constant specter of death from guards or illness. He battled pneumonia and other life-threatening sicknesses at least 3 times. Yet, amid this torment, Pilecki's mission burned bright. Showing extraordinary resilience, he founded the ZOW, a clandestine resistance movement designed to lift prisoner morale and strike back at their captors. The group smuggled in extra food, clothing, and medical supplies, small victories against the camp's deprivation, while Pilecki organized an intelligence network to gather critical data. Structured ingeniously, Zhao ensured no senior member knew another's identity, protecting the group from betrayal under torture. Under his leadership, it grew to over 1,000 members, absorbing all other resistance efforts within Auschwitz's barbed wire confines. Pilecki himself was no bystander to the suffering. He toiled alongside his comrades, his body weakened by labor and illness, yet his mind razor-sharp, documenting every atrocity. His first report slipped out soon after arrival, carried by rare escapees, detailing the grim punishments, starvation, and pervasive threat of execution that defined camp life. Even a hardened fighter like Pilecki was staggered by the scale of suffering, yet he pressed on, risking everything to unite prisoners and relay the truth to the outside world. His time in Auschwitz wasn't just survival. It was a defiant stand, a testament to courage that turned a place of despair into a battleground for hope, even as the Nazis tightened their deadly grip. Pause for a moment and support the channel by liking and subscribing. Now, let's dive back into this amazing story. Witold Pilecki's 2.5 years in Auschwitz were not merely a test of survival, but a relentless campaign to pierce the camp's veil of secrecy and rally the world against its atrocities. From the moment he arrived as prisoner 4859 in September 1940, he began channeling the horrors he witnessed into actionable intelligence, risking his life to smuggle out reports that would become the Allies' earliest window into Auschwitz's nightmare. His accounts, painstakingly detailed, chronicled the mass exterminations, starvation, guard brutality, and grotesque medical experiments that claimed over 1 million lives by the war's end. These reports, often carried by the few who escaped, reached the Polish Home Army, then the exiled Polish government in London and senior Allied figures, painting a picture so dire it was initially dismissed as exaggeration. What unfolded at Auschwitz seemed beyond belief. Pilecki provided hard numbers, prisoner counts, arrival rates, and death tolls, offering a chilling ledger of the camp's machinery of death. As the principal source of information, he watched Auschwitz evolve from a detention site into a full-fledged extermination camp, his reports growing grimmer with each passing month. He hoped this intelligence would spur the Allies or Home Army to liberate the camp, but that dream remained unfulfilled, leaving him to fight on alone. By spring 1942, his Zhao resistance movement swelled, uniting over 1,000 prisoners. But the Gestapo's crackdown that autumn killed many members and saw older Poles transferred to German camps, threatening to dismantle his network. Realizing he could do more from outside, Pilecki resolved to escape, a near impossible feat in a place where even minor infractions meant execution. On an April night in 1943, after 2.5 years of enduring beatings, starvation, and disease, Pilecki seized his chance. Working the night shift at the camp bakery with 2 comrades, they pried open a metal door, overpowered a guard, locking him in a woodshed, and cut a phone line and alarm before fleeing into the darkness. Clutching stolen German identity papers, they ran, covering nearly 100 kilometers over several days, evading patrols in a weakened state from years of hardship. At one point, Pilecki was shot and wounded during a close encounter with German soldiers, yet he pressed on, reaching a Home Army safehouse outside occupied Warsaw. There, he poured his experiences into Witold's report, a comprehensive plea to liberate Auschwitz, detailing Zhao's efforts and the camp's horrors. Despite his urging, the Home Army deemed a rescue unfeasible, lacking resources to evacuate thousands, leaving Pilecki's escape a personal triumph but a strategic frustration. His reports, though doubted at first, laid bare the truth, forcing the Allies to confront the scale of Nazi crimes, even if action lagged. Pilecki's daring break from Auschwitz wasn't just an escape from death. It was a bid to save countless others, a legacy of defiance etched in every word he sent forth from that hell on earth. Witold Pilecki's escape from Auschwitz in April 1943 marked the end of one chapter of valor, but his fight for freedom and his tragic fate stretch far beyond the camp's barbed wire. After reaching a home army safe house, he continued coordinating resistance efforts, linking ZOW with external forces, and in February 1944 earned a promotion to captain. That summer, during the Warsaw Uprising, he defied orders to stay safe, joining the fray as an anonymous soldier until Polish losses forced him to reveal his rank, commanding a unit in the 63-day battle. When the uprising failed, he surrendered to the Nazis, spending the war's remainder in a Bavarian POW camp until liberation in April 1945. Yet, peace eluded Poland under Soviet occupation, and Pilecki, ever the patriot, went undercover in Warsaw by December 1945. Recruiting from ZOW and the Home Army, he built an intelligence network to monitor the Soviet-backed regime, a perilous task requiring constant identity shifts. In 1946, tipped off that his cover was blown, he refused orders to flee, unwilling to abandon his homeland. Arrested by the Soviets on May 8, 1947, he endured over a year of brutal interrogation, torture from experts in cruelty, yet never betrayed his comrades. Tried in a sham court on charges like espionage and illegal border crossing, he pleaded guilty to most, denying only fabrications, but the outcome was predetermined. On May 25, 1948, Pilecki was executed, his burial site still unknown. Censored in Poland until 1989, his story emerged post-communism, with his trial quashed and posthumous honors, the Order of Polonia Restituta, 1995, and Order of the White Eagle, 2006. Finally recognizing his sacrifice. From infiltrating Auschwitz to defying Soviet tyranny, Pilecki's life was a relentless stand against oppression, his legacy a testament to courage that outlasted the silence imposed by his killers, inspiring a nation to reclaim its hero. This was just one of many incredible moments in history. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you never miss another one.